an alien invasion in England. And what happened was Orson Welles' radio company made a drama out of it, and they had the aliens invade where, Bob? Upstate New York. Yeah, upstate New York. Grover's Mill, New Jersey was where they invaded. And there was a CBS, it caused nationwide panic. There was a CBS announcer named Jack Parr. Anybody remember Jack Parr? Jack Parr. He went on the air in the CBS affiliate in Cleveland. He tried to calm public panic by announcing, "The world is not coming to an end, trust me. We never ever lied to you." So Jack Parr went on the air to try to say it was fake news, that the world was coming to an end. Did you know that the hysteria over the end of the world in 1938 even reached Harrison, Arkansas? And do you know how I know this? Because I talked to Matt McCutcheon about it, who was 22 in 1938. Matt McCutcheon was 22 in 1938. He's now 103 years old. But he said he remembers people in Harrison. Wayne Hardaway got real upset about the whole thing, and he moved up to the mountain, and nobody's seen him since. But anyway, there are some people that kind of get fascinated with the end of the world. And if you're into the end of the world, this is a good place to be. It seems like end of the world people like to come here. They like to come here. They like to prepare for the end of the world. We've got people called preppers and a prepper is prepared for the apocalypse or whatever. They are going to ride it out. They are going to ride out the storm, and they're going to come. They build underground shelters, but I'm not going to tell you where my underground shelter is. That's just for me and my wife to know about. I saw a Twilight Zone one time. There's these two couples, and they're sitting there and they're playing cards together, and the radio's on, and they say, "We interrupt this message for announcement. The missiles have been launched from the USSR, and it is now time for everybody to get into their bomb shelters." And so these two couples are playing cards, and you can imagine that kind of interrupts their card game a little bit. Well, the one couple says to the other couple, "Sorry, it's time for us to go down into our bomb shelter." And the other couple says, "Great, we'll come with you." The first couple says, "I'm sorry, but our bomb shelter is only for the two of us, and you can't come in there with us." And they say, "But if we don't come in there with you, we'll die." And they say, "Yeah, but if you come down in here with us, then we're going to run out of food. We're not going to be able to last out. Then we'll all die." This way, anyway, they get into, let's call it's an awkward social moment. And then they come on and they announce that there has been, that they have discovered that the missiles have not, in fact, launched. So.
Are they still friends?
Well, yes, it did. I don't think so. I think that left a permanent problem in their relationship. In 1970, there was a book written called The Late Great Planet Earth. And in 1979, there was a movie made about the late great planet Earth. And do you know who was at the beginning of this movie? A guy comes on screen and he starts talking about things having to do with the end of the world. Do you know who that person is that was the narrator to the late great planet Earth? Orson Welles. Orson Welles. Look it up on YouTube. And you know what else was important about 1979? The year I graduated from high school. The year I graduated from high school, March 1979, year I graduated from high school. And imagine how it felt for me to go to the movie theater and see the late great planet Earth in 1979, knowing that I had graduated high school just in time for the apocalypse. So, and you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with our scripture lesson for this morning? Well, Michael, Matthew 7, 15 through 20 has to do, because Jesus was concerned that his disciples would follow after false prophets who would begin to try to convince them that he had come back or that it was the end of the world. So we're going to look at Matthew 7, 15 through 20. And I'm just hoping, Wayne, that after you look at this passage of Scripture, you're not going to fall. You're not going to run up on the mountain after some false prophet that tells you that Jesus has returned. And he's at Mount Judah. Okay? That you're not going to fall for it again.
Well, did I mention the communion this morning is actually Kool-Aid?
Well, interesting that you should mention
Well,
that.
I do.
Yeah, yes, since we're talking about false prophets this morning. Okay, so we're at Matthew 7, 15 through 20. And you know what? Since we have a little problem with the lights on the stage, I'm just going to go ahead and come down here. I'll come down with John. So we're at Matthew 7, 15 through 20. And if you've got your Bibles, you can open up and see that it reads, "Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus by their fruit, you will recognize them." Now, one of the things that you can do with these passages of Scripture is you can look them up online and see what the verb tenses are. And all the verb tenses are in the present tense here. There's one that's in the future. I'll point that out to you. But let me read it where the verbs are all in the present tense as in the original Greek. "Be watching out for false prophets. They are coming to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. By their fruit," and this is the future tense, "you will be knowing them. Are grapes being picked from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree is bearing good fruit, but a bad tree is bearing bad fruit. A good tree is not bearing bad fruit, and a bad is not bearing good fruit. Every tree that is not bearing good fruit is being cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, by their fruit, you will be knowing them." So the reason I like to look at that in the present tense is it helps us to realize that this was something that was happening at the time. It was not something that was going to be a faraway thing. Hundreds of years from now, there's going to be people that are going to draw you away. No, he said he was concerned that his disciples would face this. And we know this because if we look later on in Matthew's Gospel, we see it. So I'm going to ask you now to turn your Bibles to Matthew chapter 24. So move ahead to Matthew 24, and we can see what Jesus was concerned about happening in his day. So look at Matthew 24, 4 through 6. Matthew 24, 4 through 6. Anybody there yet? Bob, you looked it up on your phone. Good for you, Bob. Matthew 24, 4 to 6. It says, "Be wary, for many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and the time has drawn near. Do not go after them. For many will come in my name, claiming, I am the Messiah, and will deceive many. You will hear wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come." And now, go to verses 26 and 27 in that same chapter. So Matthew 24, 26 through 27. "So if anyone tells you, there he is, out in the wilderness, do not go out. Or here he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man." Sorry about my voice a little bit. I'm going back to puberty, I guess. Anyway, so Jesus, let's say allergies. So Jesus was concerned that there would be people that would come and draw his disciples away, and they would say something like, "Hey, he came back, and he's over here out in the desert. Come with me." If somebody tells you that, what are you supposed to do if you're one of Jesus' disciples? What'd you say? N-O. What if he says, "Hey, he's over at the Ramada Inn in a room over there. Come with me, and he's back. You can come and see him." Then what do you say?
Do you have HBO?
Do not be drawn off. Do not be deceived. Jesus said there would be many that would be coming. They would say that I am he, I am the one, I know what the end of the world, I know when that's going to happen. Come and follow me. So I think that Jesus did not want his disciples to be distracted by that. Now, you don't have to look this up, but in Luke 12, 35 through 37, it's recorded that Jesus said, be dressed and ready for service, and keep your lamps burning like servants, waiting for their master to return from a wedding banquet, so that when he comes and knocks, they can immediately open the door for him. It will be good for those servants whose master finds them watching when he comes. So I think that what Jesus was wanting was that we would all be in a state of readiness just all the time, and that we would stay working. One of the things I noticed, I've been reading the Sermon on the Mount every day. I've been reading the Sermon on the Mount every day.
Congratulations.
I'll try this one more time. I've been reading the Sermon on the Mount every day. It's kind of, when you read the Sermon on the Mount, it's kind of like hitting the reset button on your discipleship, because you read through that Sermon on the Mount, and I noticed that what Jesus said was that he wanted his disciples to be doing the good works that he described in the Sermon on the Mount, so that people would see what they were doing, and they would give thanks to the Heavenly Father. They would glorify the Heavenly Father. So, according to the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus wanted people who were doing what he was teaching them to do, and that people would see what they were doing, how they were acting, how they were living, and they would know that something was different about these people by the way that they were living and the way that they were doing. Marge, what was that saying that you had in your Sunday school class for years and years? What you do, what you do speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you say. Let's give Marge a round of applause. That was a saying that was up on the wall. It was a saying for her children too. But I think that was what Jesus was wanting. He was wanting disciples that were doing what he said. Now, what is really easy to have happen? When somebody tells you to do something, what's easy to happen? You can get distracted by other things that start to happen. And one of the biggest distractions that people get into is trying to predict when the end of the world is going to come. And they try to predict all of that kind of stuff. And sometimes there are preachers. And what they will do is they will get a following by saying, follow me. I know when the end of the world is. I've calculated it all out. And you don't have to check your Bibles. You don't have to think for yourself, because I know everything.
Fake preachers.
Stay away. The fake preachers, false prophets. Stay away from those types of people. I think what Jesus is saying. So, my job is just to continue to point us to the Sermon on the Mount, to point us to Jesus and his basic teachings, so that we can all continue to manifest the kingdom of God on a daily basis for our whole life. What are we doing today? We are manifesting God's kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. What are we doing tomorrow? Manifesting God's kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. What are we doing the day after that? Think God's, yes. And so that just helps me to think about that that's the main thing that we're supposed to be doing. And Jesus said that if we would do that, then everything else would take care of itself. There was a time in World War II in which the British thought that the Germans were going to invade. They were going to successfully cross the channel. You know this story? They really thought that the Germans were probably going to invade them. And so the British government was getting ready for this. They did not want the people to panic. And so they made some posters that they were going to put up in case the Germans actually succeeded in invading. They made 2.5 million posters of these posters, and the posters were never put up because the Germans never invaded. And those posters, they put them in the place where at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, they put that stuff. They put it in some crate, some storehouse somewhere. They all got lost. except for a few of them showed up in the year 2000. And you know what the poster said? Okay, keep calm. Yeah, keep calm and carry on. And then it had a crown, keep calm and carry on. And people have made different ones. You can see it says keep calm and chide on. Keep calm. There's all kinds of variations. But what the British government wanted was, if the Germans happened to invade, just keep calm and carry on. And I think that's what Jesus was wanting us to do. One of the Psalms, Psalm 92, I use Psalm 92 as a call to worship in the first service. And at the end of Psalm 92, it says that that even when you are old, that you are to be green, you're to be a green tree full of sap. And Wanda Thompson, after the first service, told me that peach trees are especially sappy. So the idea is we're always supposed to be green, we're always supposed to be full of sap. Even no matter how old we get. Matt McCutcheon, 103. Spiritually, what is he supposed to be? Green and full of sap. So I think that what we're supposed to do is just kind of keep our eye on the ball, not get distracted by the false. To not get distracted by the false prophets that might come along and try to draw us away. I thought of one more thing. John Wesley, his movement started what became the Methodist Church. And he had a saying, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. We just said it one more time. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. So, one of the things I like about the Christian church is it doesn't set any of us up here as false teachers or false prophets, because we each have to read the Bible and apply it to our lives to the best of our own understanding. And the main thing that we're supposed to be doing is staying on track and living out the Sermon on the Mount on a daily basis so that people will see our good works and they will give glory to our Father who is in heaven. And if we keep on doing that, we will always be full of sap. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we're easily distracted in this life. We read your words in the Sermon on the Mount, and we feel a sense of being commissioned and having very important work to do each day, especially when you say that we are to take things one day at a time and let each day just have the trouble of its own. So help us, Heavenly Father, not to be distracted, not to be taken away by false prophets, but to stay on track, to just keep following you, and to keep living out your commands, especially as we receive them in the Sermon on the Mount, so that we can be a part of your kingdom being manifest here on earth. And we make these prayers, Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, I'm going to invite our elder to come up to the table today and help us to get ready to have communion. And our elder this morning is none other